Hey, what's up guys? For those of you that don't know me, I have been a Challenger player since Set 3. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be showing you guys how to properly streak. So if you guys don't know, streaking is the second best way to make gold in TFT. The first way is obviously just having 50 gold and generating 5 gold of interest per turn. But in addition, you could actually generate an extra 3 gold per turn if you're on a 5 win or lose streak. And if you aren't playing around this mechanic, chances are you're playing down a lot of gold. So in this video, I'm going to be VOD reviewing a win streak and a lose streak game, my thought process, and when I think you should commit to this playstyle. Let's jump right into it. So this is one of my TFT games I played where I opt to play around a very strong early game board and try to streak into neutrals. So I'll just walk you through my thought process into why I made that choice and what I end up doing in this game. Get Drop the Chain. It's a decent component, at least it's not like a tier or a cloak. The galaxy right now is Lavender Sea, basically. There's one hex on the board that moves around, and if it's in the front two, the front row hex makes the unit more tanky, and if it's in the back, it makes them do more damage. So I get a 6 gold opener. I end up just buying the whole shop. I slightly value the Ionia duo a bit more than the Poppy pair, so that's why I play these two, but it's hard to say which is stronger. But here I end up getting dropped 2 Casios. I have the opportunity to make 10 gold here, but because I got a belt, it gives me the opportunity to make a Sunfire early, so that signals to me that I have the opportunity to play a very strong early game board, so I just buy everything. Whenever you're trying to streak, it's usually better to hold onto your units than like selling for Econ, because you want to maximize your chances of playing a strong board. So that's why I held everything there as opposed to making 10. So here I see a Warwick. The Warwick is kind of valuable just because it plays very well into the 3 Ionia opener if I find the set, so I really want to hold the Warwick. But I honestly really want to hold on to the Poppy pair as well, because I want to streak. I just want to buy everything here. If I were to make 10 here, it would require me to sell the Warwick and like one of my Poppies, and I don't think it was worth it. So here I have an interesting choice. There's 3 augments here. I don't think the middle one is very good. Latent is on average pretty good, but the problem with Latent right now is that it's like it doesn't give me any strength right now. It gives me strength towards the mid game. But Unified, I think on average is like slightly worse than Latent. However, in this particular spot, I think Unified makes my board stronger right now. So I think in this spot, I think it's better to take Unified here because I could actually play for the streak, take Unified, slam the Sunfire at level, and play for the streak. That's what I end up doing, I think. Yeah, and I do. I got a little lucky here. I find like the Jhin in the shop. This honestly, I swear to you, it never happens in any of my games. Having two 2-cost units in the early game is actually pretty high roll. So I decide to just level, play the strongest board possible, and yeah, play for the 5 streak and slam the Sunfire. So my strongest here is definitely my 2-cost units. I think I just level and play my Galio and my Warwick just because they're the 2 most tanky units. I already have enough damage, which is my Cassio 2 and my Jhin 2. And here I want to slam the Sunfire. I slam it on the Galio just because I don't want to commit the items to the Warwick yet, because there's a good chance Warwick plays into my board through the early and mid game. And there's like a chance where I might find like an Aurelia 2 or like a Set 2. In that case, I would rather have the Sunfire on an Aurelia 2 or a Set 2 as opposed to a Warwick 1. That's why I commit the Sunfire to a Galio instead, because I could just sell it later. Yeah, so I win this. Pretty good. So here, interesting situation. I have a pretty strong board, but the problem is, to make 10 gold here, I would have to sell off Renekton, Cassio, Maokai, and then I would have to make 3 gold somewhere. So I kind of don't want to sell the Aurelias because Aurelia goes into my Ionia board. And honestly, like the Poppy pair is kind of valuable as well. Not as valuable as the Aurelia though. So I think what I end up doing is I play like a slightly weaker board. To guarantee that I make 10. So I think I play the Aurelia over the Galio. That way I could sell the Galio for Econ while my board is a little bit weaker but strong enough to win my next fight. So yeah, I do this, sell the Galio, and this guarantees me a way to make 10 while holding on to my pairs, is what I do. Oh, so I end up selling the Poppy, and I end up opting to hold the Zed as well, Zed instead. Looking back, I'm not sure if this is like, I think it's okay to sell the Poppies, but looking back, I don't actually think maybe it was correct to hold the Zed. Maybe it was better to hold the Swain, because Zed, honestly, even though it gives me 3 Ionia, Zed kind of sucks in the early game. Maybe it was better to hold the Swain because it allows me to like... Swain is just like a very good early game tank, and it also allows me to play into the 3 Noxus early game because I already have a Cassio. So that's why I think maybe it was better to hold the Swain instead of the Zed, but it's hard to say. Here I just play my strongest, so it's just going to be Kassadin and Warwick. Notice I do have the 3 Ionia, but I don't want to play 3 Ionia. I would have to like play Irelia and Zed, and then I would have to like move the Sunfire over to play my strongest. It doesn't seem worth it. It's kind of like, yeah, I don't think it's stronger than the board I have right now. So this guy's board is pretty insane. He has 2 2-star units, Darius, Gargoyle, solo frontline, and he has Unified as well. So yeah, he has a very strong board, so I end up losing here, which kind of sucks because I really wanted to 5-streak into neutrals, but it is what it is. So here, I don't have any good... I already have a Sunfire. I don't have any components. Usually, I would try to finish off a full item that I have based on the leftover components, but I don't. So I just go for a high-cost, good item unit. I want the bow, but it unfortunately got taken, so I go for the Rek'Sai with the chain here. This is good because Rek'Sai is 3 gold. I kind of lack some money right now. And the chain is good because it'll probably allow me to build a second tank item, because the second tank item will synergize very well with the first tank item that I already have, which is Sunfire. Because if I build like a Bramble on the Warwick, it'll give the Sunfire cape more value because the Bramble will enable my unit with Sunfire to live longer. So that's like the concept of like multiplicative scaling. In the early game, if possible, you should try to like 3 item either your main tank or your main carry. But of course, like sometimes you might get like some tank items and some damage items. You can't really do that. But that's like a general rule of thumb. You want to get to a point where you could triple item a unit as early as possible, because that's how you make the most use of your components early game, having them multiply their stats off each other. Yeah, so I end up winning this as well. This guy's still level 4, very good for me. And I end up selling the Poppy to make 20. I end up holding the Warwick pair, which is very huge. If I hit this Warwick pair, it's actually very good for me. So in the shop, I see a Karma and a Nasus. So Nasus is actually quite good for me because it gives me Juggernaut, and it also gives me 2 Shurima, or it gives me the potential to play into 3 Shurima. Unfortunately, I don't think it's my strongest board right now, surprisingly. Usually it goes right in. Playing the Karma gives me 2 Invoker and 3 Ionia, which I think is like stronger than playing the Nasus here. And I win this one as well. So 2 win, 1 loss, 2 win. Unfortunately, I didn't 5 win into neutrals, but I still have a very strong board, and I'm pretty healthy as well, so I'm definitely not unhappy about my spot. So looking at the spot, I am thinking of selling the Kassadin to make 30 gold, but I definitely want to see what I get from Krugs here first, because there is a Kassadin pair. It's like, Kassadin pair is like not as valuable here just because I already have like my early and mid game board set up. So I honestly will sell the dual Kassadin here, because my next in is just going to be a Nasus, even if I hit the Kassadin too. So that's why like the Kassadin is not very good here. So I get a bunch of gold. So this gives me the opportunity to just make 40 by selling the Kassadin, Vi, and the Renekton. And because at level 6 I'm playing Nasus, I just decide to sell them off. So Rod is like not very good for me. It doesn't let me finish any completed item, and it's like not a very good component in like the AZ comps at all. The only good thing it could be used for is like Morello or Guinsoo's, but because I already have Sunfire, Morello is not very good. So basically this Rod could only be Guinsoo's, which is like not very good for me. So here I honestly still think I have like a very strong board. I think I decide to level here and just play Nasus to guarantee the win. It's because this gives me full value out of my Unify, 3 Unified frontline, 3 Unified backline. So makes my board very strong. Hard to say if it was correct to level to 6 here. But I decided to level here because I thought I had the potential to keep winning until stage 4. But honestly, it's like kind of hard. It's like, oh, I think it's okay to stay level 5 here and just econ up. It's also okay to go level 6 and try to continue the streak. It's hard to say what's right here, but I decided to level. So I end up selling the Taric and the Ash to make 30. So here I'm picking my augments. So Infusion is not very good for me here. Martyr is really good just because it's another very good combat augment, and it's especially good in my current spot because I have Unified, and the extra healing I get from Martyr will basically give my Unified armor and magic resist more value because the units have more effective HP, giving the armor and the magic resist on them more value. So that's why Martyr is really good in this spot. And here, I kind of want to hold the Cassio or the Lissandra, but I won't be able to make 40. So I think I decided to just play the Lissandra over the Cassio. and sell off the Cassio to make 40 while holding on to Lissandra. The reason why I do this is because Lissandra plays scale. Lissandra is a unit that transitions very well into the mid and late game, whereas Cassio is not. So I opt to play a slightly weaker board here to have like a better transition into the mid and late game while still making 40. And honestly, like, I don't even think if it's weaker. I think Lissandra is actually like a very good unit towards the mid game because it shreds it doesn't shred, but it increases the damage you do to the units Lissandra hits by like 15% or something. So I think it's like, honestly, it's like about even. It's hard to say. But I end up winning this fight. Pretty good for me. And there's like a Karma pair, but like, at this point, Karma pair is like not as valuable just because like, I'm planning to do a big roll down at level 7. So, and there's a very high chance Karma isn't going to go into my level 7 board. So it's like not as good as it looks. The reason why I'm playing around the level 7 roll down is because I have a Golden Nico. And whenever you have like a Golden Nico in the early and mid game, there's like, you should usually try and play around the level 7 roll down. Unless you have like some crazy Econ opener. Because like, if you have a Golden Nico, there's like a very high chance that you're going to hit everything at level 7. Because you just roll down, hold all your pairs, and then after you hit like 4 out of 5 of your main pairs, you just Nico the last one, and you're like, you have like a very strong board until like stage 6. Basically guarantees you like the top 2. So that's why I'm rolling down at level 7 here. Versus going 8 and playing for like a 5 cost. It's just like the much safer play. So my items, I have like a rod and a chain. I'm trying to figure out what to go from Carousel. I could go for bow to go for the Guinsus, but I think it's better to just go for the sword here just because I lack like, I need like infinite swords, but I only need 1 bow. And there's like a chance that I could get like natural bow, but I rather have like more sword. I rather have like 3 swords and 3 bows, which is why I prefer sword over bow here. But unfortunately, neither of them are open. So I'll just go for the chain to finish off the Bramble. So here I have the opportunity to play Ash. It gives me 3 Freljord and 2 Deadeye, but it requires me to level. I end up leveling anyway, just because I could still stay above 30 gold and I could try to continue my streak. If I win and maintain my streak, I basically get the 3 gold back from win streaking, and it'll make back the gold I lost from not being at 50 gold. So I think it's worth this level here. I have a very high chance of maintaining my streak while still making money from my win streak. So yeah, it's level. And I literally barely win this fight. It's level diff. So I basically would have lost this fight if I didn't level. I would have been lower HP and I would have been poorer because I wouldn't have gotten the 3 gold from the streak. Which was very good. So I found the Zeri. I checked the Zon and I see that I get Adaptive Implant. So Adaptive Implant is pretty decent on Zeri. Actually, like not 100% sure what the best on stuff on Zeri is, but I think Adaptive Implant is okay on Zeri to put on Zeri. So this gives me the option to potentially play around Zeri carry. So I'll just hold on to the Zeri, keep my options open. I can play either Aphelios or Zeri. So we'll see what happens during my roll down. But I end up winning this one as well. Very good. I end up 7 streaking into neutrals. I mean, I have very strong combat augments, so it's like expected, I think. So here I find a Nasus pair. So it's like this Nasus pair is quite valuable. Usually I roll slightly before stage 4, just because I want that extra time to pivot my board. I usually can't do it in 1 turn. Unfortunately, here I'm suffering a little bit from success because I end up hitting a little too much. Usually only roll to 30 or 40 gold, but because I want to hold on to the Tarek pair, Urgot, Aphelios pair, and the Zeri pair, it's like I end up in a situation where I'm at 20 gold. So kind of overrolled a bit here, a little bit of a mistake. The items I get here are very bad. Tier, it's like these are very bad components, and I don't have any swords at all, which is very bad for me. But here I just continue rolling down. So my roll down, I kind of like, it's kind of good, but it's also like kind of bad. I hit like a lot of the forecasts, but I'm still like not committed into, I don't know what carry I want to play yet. Because I'm like holding on to like Aphelios, I'm holding on to Zeri. I don't really know. Like I'm sitting on too many pairs basically, and I basically still don't have like a decent board. I just like, I honestly, this Nasus shouldn't be in here, but I honestly don't even have, it's probably like Shen over Nasus here. But like, I'm just sitting on too many pairs. I really want to just finish off my 2-star units and then just Nico the last one. So I'm pretty sure I just donkey to 0 every turn here. So Scoped is not that good here. Bulk is decent. Harmless is not very good here. Know Your Enemy is also pretty good as well. The problem right now is like my items are trash. So job well done is actually pretty good because it'll give me like a completed item for my Sedge or my Aphelios. I decide to reforge my shit components first to get some more information on what the best play is. So I think I end up full reforging like the blue buff and like the cloak because they're all shit components. I got like kind of lucky here. I got the IE. So in this spot, I could just take Orin here, get the full item for Sedge, and then complete the last damage item on this Aphelios. This way I'll get 3 full item Sedge, 3 full item Aphelios, and that will be more impactful right now than the other combat augments because having a triple item tank, triple item damage carry will basically make my board a lot stronger than like something like Bulk or something like Know Your Enemy. But I rolled down a bit more here, end up getting the Urgot 2. Not sure if I should have sold the Shen, but looking back, it would require me to give up on the Nasus pair. I actually think the Nasus pair is like kind of valuable, but on second thought, maybe I shouldn't have held on to the Nasus pair because it looks like I'm playing into the Ford Jedi variant. And in this variant, you don't really play around the Nasus. You generally only play around the Nasus if you have like an Aatrox or if you're playing around the Akshan carry variant, which I'm not. So maybe it was incorrect to hold on to this Nasus. Yeah, it was probably not correct to hold on to the Nasus. But I think I was a little too tunneled on Nicoing like my remaining last 4 costs. So I ended up hitting the Akshan 2. I don't like at this point I just like I don't want to roll anymore. I just want to Nico the Aphelios and then play, and then this enables me to not roll anymore and just go 8 or 9. My board right now is very good. And then at this point, like the game just plays itself. There's not many more decisions to be made. You just sit on your ass, you wait until you go 8 or 9, and then yeah. I'll just skip forward. Oh, items. So I already have like full items. I was looking at the Scion because this unit is very valuable. I guess I just go for like the bow. Maybe it's like a good Urgot item here. Could potentially be Titans. If it wasn't the bow, it's probably the tier. It could potentially be Shojin for like a utility unit like Ashe, Senna, Heimer. It could also be like another tank item. Belt is like not very good here. But yeah. Yeah, I think not much to see. Just go, just do nothing. And then we go to the next minion round. See what we get. So these items are like not very good. So like basically these are the last components I'll be getting. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna make here. So I think the best option here is just to go for Zephyr Titans. Titans is good for my Urgot. I could start 3 iteming my Urgot. And I also have the potential to Zephyr their carry, or I could also put the Zephyr on like this Hex to guarantee that their unit that they put on like the empowered Hex gets Zephyred. Okay, honestly, yeah, that should have been the play. My item should have been Titans on the Urgot, and then I would probably Zephyr this Hex, Zephyr on the Urgot as well probably, and put Urgot on the Hex. That way, I would guarantee that their main unit gets gets Zephyred, and then my Urgot would still get the buff. But I think I end up putting the Zephyr on the Ashe instead. But I think like in hindsight, I probably should have put the Zephyr on the Urgot. That way I could like get the value out of the Hex and Zephyr their main tank. It's actually pretty lit. So Vi2 is kind of good here, more frontline. And Sedge pair, yeah, just play Zeri to get the 2 Zon thing, and I put the Adaptive Implant on the Urgot instead, just because Urgot is going to be my main carry for Zon instead of Zeri. Then yeah, I just go 9. There's not much to do here. Oh, one thing to note: if you look at the HPs, you notice that there's 2 people like like extremely healthy, and like everyone else is extremely low HP. Like this is a spot where you need to recognize like, oh, like you don't have to like play for top 4 here because like you're already like guaranteed top 2. So in this spot, it's always play for the win, because like these guys are almost always gonna die, and like your goal is to just outcap like the second guy. So my goal is just, I think from my spot, the only way I could outcap the second guy is to just go 9 and play around the legendaries. So I just econ up. But yeah, at this point, like even if I roll down here, like I'm not going to beat him just by hitting a Sedge 2. So I just opt to go 9. Fortunately, I just lose the rest of these fights, and yeah, I think like, yeah, pretty much I just go second here. It's all good. Like even if I roll down here and 2-star my board, I'm not gonna beat him because like unless I get like a 3-star affiliates or something, but it's not gonna happen. But he's about to go 9. He's a golden Nico. He's about to like 2-star all of his legendaries. It's better for me to just go 9 to have like a small chance of contesting the first as opposed to just rolling down an 8. Because if I roll down an 8 here, like the chance of me winning is like 1%. But if I win this fight somehow and I'm able to go 9, then like maybe like the chance of me winning is like 3%. So that's why I just like greed here and I end up going second. But it's all good. I think it was correct to try to go 9. So here's going to be a different TFT game where instead of opting to play around the win streak opener, I'm going to walk you guys through my thought process on how to properly play the lose streak opener. So in the current meta, Acel is pretty dominant. I personally don't really like picking these gold augments or gold galaxies because it helps the Acel players and I'm playing Ornn. But I don't know. I probably should have picked Thresh, but I kind of wanted to play with some extra resources, so I just picked the gold one. But anyway, it's the gold galaxy. Start with the Viego, not like the best unit. But I end up getting dropped a Set, a Swain, and a Galio. So these 2 units on the right are actually very valuable early game. In my shop, I actually get a very good shop. So Jhin pair with the Set is a really good early game combo. But I also have the 3 Noxus opener. So I decide to hold on to I play the Cass and the Swain just because I value the 3 Noxus opener slightly more than the potential 3 Ione opener. And here, what ends up happening, I believe I don't get dropped anything. Okay, I get dropped a Cloak, kind of like a shit component. Cloak and a Bow, I just hold the Jhin. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, Runaan's, potential Slam, but still could be anything. Renekton pair is pretty valuable. Here, I think my strongest is just 3 Noxus, and it's probably the trio of units that I want to hold on to the most. So I just decided to play these 3 units, and there's a chance I could make 10 here, but we'll see what happens. So I don't get anything. I get a tier, which is like not very good. Shiv in like the Ophelio Zeri meta is like not very strong. Because a lot of the AP comps don't even use Shiv, they use Spark, so it's like not very good. So the first augment, the choices are Portable Forge, Too Healthy, and All That Shimmers. So I actually think, so I end up picking All That Shimmers, but I am like 80% sure that Too Healthy is better here, but I don't pick Too Healthy. The reason why I think Too Healthy is better is because I think from this spot, you could actually just play into Talia, because I already have like the Swain, I already have the Set. Pretty sure there's like a line you could play where you just hard force Talia and you're guaranteed like a top 2, but I don't have the balls to play it, and I wasn't too familiar with that opener. So I end up just picking Shimmer. It's still overall very good. Not as good because it's like a gold galaxy where you get a lot of excess gold from the augments, but it's still very good nonetheless, especially if you get it at 2-1. So unfortunately, I didn't get the one where it's like the mega tank one where at 40 stacks it gives you 20 gold. But Determinate Investor is also very good early game. You just want to make sure that the unit you're playing dies every single fight. So I opt to not level here just to make sure that I start like farming these stacks on Determinate Investor so I could get Diamond Hands or very early. So I just play like a 3-unit board at level 3, and then I'm not sure if I make 10 here. Do I make 10? I'm pretty sure I don't. I think I hold everything because I think like all the units are pretty valuable. Renekton pair, Jhin pair, Samira pair. So I'm pretty sure I hold everything. And I don't make 10. So here I hit 2 pairs. The Viego pair is not like that good. But the Renekton pair is pretty valuable. Unfortunately, I opt to like not level and play the Renekton just because like it's kind of like hard to. I don't want my board to be too strong because like I kind of want to farm these Determined Investor stacks early, and there's a chance that if I play the Renekton, I might just stomp so hard that like I'm not gonna get these stacks. And like early game is the best place to like farm these Determined Investor stacks because I really want this by like 3-3, or like the Golden Nico by like stage 4 when I roll down. So I decided not to level here, and I also don't level here because I think like a lot of these pairs are pretty valuable. But I think here I do decide to make 10 gold here just because my next in is going to be Renekton for sure. The Jhin pair, I end up not playing just because I didn't hit a 3rd Ionia, and I basically already have like a 3 Noxus board with my next in Renekton guaranteed already. So I just sold them off to make 10. It's all good. But yeah, I just level, play the Renekton. I don't really care about like winning or losing. I mean, ideally I would want to win, but it's absolutely okay if I lose as long as like I save some HP. I'm slowly farming up the determined investor stacks on my Swain or like on my item, but I end up barely losing this one as well by 1 unit. So this is actually like very high roll. I lost by 1 unit. I'm basically trading 2 HP to get another stack on determined investor and like make some econ while holding on to these pairs. So pretty good. So right now I have a Runance and a Tier. I'm trying to figure out what item to go for here because I already slammed the Runance. I primarily want to go for an AD comp. I'm looking at the Akshan because Akshan is a very valuable unit early game. The chain will also allow me to kill off the Tier to make a vow. Fortunately, it got taken, so I end up just taking the sword because in this particular meta where Aphelios and Zeri are dominant, you basically need infinite sword. So sword is always good. So here, like my board isn't like particularly strong. Like, yeah, I have like a Swain too, but I have like a 1-star Samira and like a Runans. I'm probably not going to be winning any fights even if I level. And if I level, I won't be able to make 20 because I would have to sell off, or yeah, if I level, I won't be able to make 20. So I just buy the Katarina and just play through Noxus and like Samira as my strongest while staying level 4. I don't really care if I lose. Like 5 losing into like neutrals is not even that bad. I'm actually like very healthy for 3 loss right now. I'm 86 HP, so pretty good. 3 unit loss, so I'm at 4 loss at 80 gold, or 4 loss at 80 HP. So at this point, I need to make sure that I lose next round. I'm pretty sure here I scout to make sure that no one is weaker than me. So I look around, I see this guy's level 5. So in my head, I'm like, okay, probably gonna lose against him anyway. So I don't swap my board. But he ends up swapping his board last second and to try to purposely lose. Honestly, this was like a very big misplay by me because if I ended up fighting this guy, I would have lost my lose streak and it would have completely griefed my game. But I kind of got bailed out here by not fighting him. I won the 66% chance of not fighting him. So good for me, but it could have ended very badly and I really should have, honestly should have forcefully sacked this round and put all my shit units in the front. But anyway, we get the 5 loss at 72 HP. Actually extremely healthy for a 5 loss and I'm rich. So I'm pretty happy with my spot. I don't really like, yeah, I'm losing HP, but it's not a big deal because I know for a fact that with my econ and the fact that I'm getting a golden Nico, I'm 100% I 100% will be able to stabilize during my 4-1 roll down. It's okay to keep stacking here. So I get an Akshan from a drop and I hit the Swain 2. And I get an Ashe. So the Swain 2 is actually huge because it basically stabilized my front line. And at this point, like with this front line, I'm actually like down to start winning fights because I already got my 5 loss and I'm already above 50 gold to start making econ. It's okay to just play my strongest here and start trying to win fights because I don't lose any gold for playing a stronger board or leveling. So I level here, just play the Lysandra. I end up losing this fight. It's all good. Well, he has an Urgot. That's probably why I lost, but it's another pretty good loss. How many? It's a 2 unit loss, so it's really, really good. I'm very healthy for how many fights I lost. I haven't won a single fight. So transfusion is fucking insane here, especially if you're playing from behind in terms of HP, because it guarantees that you'll be able to spike later. So here, interesting turn. I'm definitely leveling here to play 6 unit, probably Ashe. But the question is, do I play my Jinx or do I make this Jinx 2? I could sell the Akshan, move items to Jinx 2, and then I think my board might be like temporarily like a little stronger. But like if I make the Jinx 2, it's like I lose 1 gold for making the Jinx 2 because you sell it back for 5 gold, and I'm already sitting on an Akshan pair. So I would have to give up on the Akshan out if I play around the Jinx 2. So I just decided not to make it, and I decided to just play around the Akshan. So next turn, I'm pretty sure I get rewarded for this. I end up finding the Akshan 2 in my next shop. Don't get me wrong, this is like really high roll. But yeah, I definitely don't think it was worth it to upgrade the Jinx 2 in the previous shop. but this basically shows you like the scenario where it pays off. So finally get the diamond hands. I put it on Swain just because I want him to grant me 2 gold every turn. He's going to be my solo frontline. And like I said in my previous game, because I have the golden Nico, I'm going to be playing around. Well, okay. So this is an Econ galaxy, so you might actually not play around the level 7 roll down. It's like, because I have so much Econ, I 5 lost early game, and you get a lot of influx of gold from the augments because of the galaxy. It's actually, I think it's better to just skip level 7 completely and go 8 and use the golden Nico on a legendary unit, just because I have so much Econ to work with. It's not really worth rolling down at level 7 because you get spike much harder at level 8, especially since I have transfusion. I'm basically like guaranteed to stabilize at level 8 if I roll down, and I'm so rich. But I have an Akshan too. DB, Runans. The problem are my items. I have a tier and a rod. I'm thinking I just want to make a Guinsu's, go for like a bow, and then make the Guinsu's. However, oh, okay. I don't have the Deathblade yet. I just go for the sword to finish off the Deathblade. I'm like pretty sure I finished it. Because the Deathblade is the most impactful item right now. More impactful than getting a Guinsu's. Just gives my Akshan so much damage, especially since I have 3 Shreema in and 2 Deadeye. So my board is actually, it's pretty fucking strong. It's like, so it's like surprising to see me to be on an 8 lose streak, but I just level. And I just, so here I don't have like a good 7th unit to play, so I just roll once. And I immediately find like a good 7th unit, so I just play the Urgot. So like this board is like infinitely stronger than any other unit I played earlier. So that's why I think it was worth it to just roll once there. It's all good. But yeah, I play 4 Deadeye, 3 Shreema. Not sure, okay, so I barely lose this fight, which is actually surprising, because I think my board is actually pretty good, especially since I have like transfusion. But it's a 2 unit loss. I make 50 here. And next turn, I mean like I'm basically like 63 gold at level 7, 9 loss, and if I lose this, I actually don't even mind losing that much, as long as it's not like a bad loss, because I could just full send it at 4-2 at level 8 when I have like 100 gold to roll with. And then I'll probably hit like Belveth 2 or something, or Senna 2, Heimer 2, because I have a golden Nico. So yeah, this is why I just like sack here. It's all good. So I end up winning this round. It's fine. I lose 3 gold for not streaking, but I actually don't mind winning here because it saves me some HP. I'm getting a bit low anyway. So yeah, I'm just gonna go 8 at 4-2. See what my items are. So I end up getting Tier, which is fucking trash. Sword is pretty good, and then Chain. So I have 2 tiers. Tier is like one of the worst components you could get. Honestly, Rod is, but Tier is pretty bad too. So I just want to kill off one of the tiers. It's just going to be Vow, because I lack some frontline anyway. So here, I have 2 available slams, Gunblade or Tier. However, I kind of don't want to slam the Gunblade because, like, if I get a bow, I'd rather just build Guinsu's on the Akshan, and then build like a Shojin on like a utility unit like Senna or Heimer. So I kind of don't want to slam anything yet. Not really in a hurry to slam anything. I think my board is like low-key still pretty good, but I'm about to just send it next turn. Yeah, I end up taking Suppressing Fire here, I think, because I'm like leaning towards like the Deadeye board. Suppressing Fire is very good for the Deadeye board. So Belveth, pretty good. Honestly, I'm like not hitting like any of my other units that go into my board though, which is like kind of low roll. Find the Senna, which is high roll, but I haven't found like a single Aphelios or like a single Urgot during that like 40 gold roll down. So it's like, yeah, it's high roll. I found like 5 costs, but it's also like kind of low roll. I didn't find like any 4 costs. Barely win this fight, but I definitely need to keep rolling. My board is like not stable, because this is where I need to stabilize. I can't afford to lose any more HP, so I just keep donkeying. Finally find 1 Aphelios, but I'm sitting on like Zeri pair. I could also play Zeri, but the problem is like I have like the Deadeye augment. But I find the Zeri 2, I can't really just like sit on my ass with the Zeri 2 on bench. So yeah, I just end up selling the Akshan and just to make sure that I'm stable. I just play the Zeri 2 and move all the items over to her, especially since I have the Senna, because it gives me 2 gunner. Yeah, I just play my strongest here. I think pretty sure this is my strongest. I get Virulent, I put it on Zeri, and then because I'm playing around Zeri, I just slam the Gunblade. Gunblade's pretty good on Zeri. Can't afford to sit around with 3 components of my bench, especially since I absolutely need to win these rounds. yeah, barely beat this guy. I honestly think it was a gunblade diff, so good slam. So here I have a tier, so I really want to kill off this tier. Could be redemption. I'm looking at the Scion though. The Scion is like a very insane unit. But I don't remember what I go for here. Oh, I go for the Sedge because tier could be Hodge. I put the Hodge on the Urgot and then Sedge pair. So I'm pretty sure that was the best option. But yeah, yeah, I kind of want to keep rolling because like I'm sitting on like a golden Nico. If I hit like any Bel'Veth or any Aatrox, any Senna, I could just golden Nico it, and then I'm gonna be extremely stable and I'll be able to go 9 because I'll have a 2-star legendary. Urgot, sitting on infinite pairs. I need to sell the Ashes here. So I'm picking up the Aphelioses. There's like a chance I could pivot back into Aphelios, but I realize that like I don't really have Gwynsus, so Aphelios is like not as good without Gwynsus. So in the end, I'm just like hard committed to the Zeri. I also like should have picked up all the Zeris. I should have scouted the lobby to see how many people were holding Zeri because I also had like the out to play into Zeri 3 because I had the Golden Nico. But yeah, it's definitely something I should have considered, but I ended up not doing. Problem is, I'm like still on Sedge 1, and I still have a Golden Nico on bench with no one to use it on. Like I could Golden Nico like the Sedge, but it's like seems kind of wasteful because it's like I kind of want to just Golden Nico like one of my legendary units for more value, and it'll stabilize me harder than because I could just find the Sedge anyway from rolling, right? Another Zeri. There's still the out for Zeri 3, so I'm still holding the Golden Nico. I just wait one more turn. I'm really strong because I'm like 30 HP. My board is very good. But yeah, I really want to make use of this Golden Nico. Let's see what I get here. Here, glove, cloak, rod. Yeah, these items are like not very good. So like from this spot, like I'm trying to figure out what to slam. I could go QSS Bel'Veth, but it's like it's gonna leave me with like an Archangels, which is not very good. It could go. It's definitely not like the ice cream cone. So it's just the only thing it could be is Hodge, Hodge Ionic Spark. So it's just gonna be Hodge, Urgot, and then Spark someone else. Again, I keep rolling here because I want to make use of the Golden Nico. Kind of looking for like a Senna or a Bel'Veth. Bro, like yeah. Kinda unlucky here. It's all good. I just slammed the Spark on the Bel'Veth for now. And then I put the Hodge on the Urgot. But here I hit the Zeri 2 and the Senna. So at this point, I just give up on the Bel'Veth and I just play like a random second Zeri 2. Even though like she has no items, she's still gonna do a considerable amount of damage. And I have the opportunity to Nico this Senna as well. So if I already use a Nico, the Bel'Veth is like not very valuable. So at this point, it's just like, yeah, the game just plays itself. My late game board is established. The only thing I could really do is potentially roll for the Sedge 2 or go 9. I think if I take another loss, I'm just going to play for top 4 and roll for the Sedge. But if I don't take another loss, I could just go 9. I'm pretty sure I end up taking another loss in the future. And then, so I don't roll my 20 gold because I'm holding on to this small glimmer of hope that I could go 9 and win out. But I'm still pretty low. And unfortunately, there's like a lot of ASO players here. Like this guy's 9 with like RA2. So it's really hard to win out anyway. So in the end, I just decide to play for top 4, roll down for the Sedge 2. And I hit the Sedge 2, and then I'm pretty sure I just end up getting like a 3rd here. Yeah, the game plays itself. There's no more decisions to be made. Yep, end up getting the 3rd.